Hi, my name's Elsa Schmidtke, and I'm a saltwater aquarist here at the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium, and I'm also the primary jellyfish aquarist. Today, we're celebrating World Jellyfish Day, and to celebrate that, we're going to take you guys behind the scenes of how we raise and care for our jellyfish. A fun fact about jellyfish is that they actually aren't fish. They are considered invertebrates, which means that they don't have a backbone. They are actually most closely related to corals and anemones. So every time you watch a jellyfish swim, you're basically watching a swimming coral. Here at the Living Planet Aquarium, we have 3 species of jellyfish. We currently have moon jellies, as shown behind me. We've got Pacific sea nettles, and we also have bay nettles. Jellyfish have 2 really unique life stages. They have their polyp stage, which is their asexual reproduction stage, and they also have a medusa stage. The polyp stage will settle on the bottom in a shaded area, and they will asexually reproduce through a process called budding. When they bud, they release off a little tiny ephyra that's so small you could barely see it. And that ephyra is going to grow up into a medusa, which is what we commonly recognize as a jellyfish. So the medusa has the bell dome shape that we think about when we think of a jellyfish. And these medusas, they can reproduce through sexual reproduction. So we'll have a male jelly and a female jelly. They will both release eggs and sperm, and when the eggs and sperm come together, they will create a zygote. And this zygote will then turn into a planular larvae, which will then settle back onto the bottom of the ocean in a shaded spot and turn back into a polyp. You can see that this life cycle is super unique because we have jellies creating other jellyfish, and then we also have polyps creating those small ephyra, which will also turn into jellies. So we recently started doing our own jelly propagation here, which has been really fun. We currently are growing out our own moon jellies, so the Aurelia auritas that you see behind me. We have our own system that is set up to house jellyfish polyps, jellyfish ephyra, as well as the growing stages of jellyfish medusa. We have a wet table that actually has 2 boxes full of jellyfish polyps. And these polyps, they can be temperature and iodine controlled in order to increase their strobulation rates. So strobulation is when the polyps start releasing all the ephyra. And we have specially designed boxes that are built to catch all of the jelly ephyra as they are released from the polyps. Once they're caught, we can move them into their own mini chrysal. And the chrysal is the round tanks that you see. They have circular flow for all of the jellies. So the ephyra, they'll go into this chrysal and they'll grow up for about 2 months. As they slowly get larger, we'll transition them between chrysals so that we have a bunch of jellies all of the same size living together. Once the medusa stage is large enough, we will start moving them out into the moon jelly habitat. Jellyfish present many of their own unique challenges when caring for them. They are extremely sensitive animals, and they require perfect flow in their chrysals in order for them to grow a perfectly shaped dome. We have to monitor them every day, multiple times a day, to make sure that their flow isn't too high, make sure that their flow isn't too low, or else we'll get problems with them turning into a complete ball with too high of flow, or even settling onto the bottom if the flow is not high enough. Another unique challenge of caring for jellyfish is that they must be fed multiple times a day. So they're pretty quick eaters, and they'll go through all of the food that they eat in a matter of a few hours. So I like to stay behind the scenes, constantly feeding out baby brine shrimp or nopuli, as well as rotifers, copepods, and then specially made smoothies just for our jellies. Now you'll get to hear from Megan, another aquarist who is specialized in producing all of our live algae as well as all of our live jellyfish foods.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I work at the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium, and I take care of our live foods room. Today I'll be walking you through our Artemia culture that we harvest every morning that we feed out to various filter feeders in our marine hall, such as jellyfish, sygnathids, and corals. This is our Artemia culture with brine shrimp eggs that are harvested from the Great Salt Lake. They're covered in a magnetic coating, and then every day we'll remove that magnetic coating and harvest just the baby brine shrimp to feed out to the jellyfish. One challenge we face with our Artemia culture is making sure that we're removing all the magnetic particles from our nuclei before we feed it out to our jellyfish. Jellyfish cannot eat it, so it's my job to make sure that we pull absolutely everything out before we feed it out to our animals.
Thanks for joining us for World Jellyfish Day. We hope that you learned something, and we hope that you come visit us soon at the Living Planet Aquarium.